Yo, boys, I had a few people on Instagram and in person actually ask me this question, so I thought I'd make a video to address it. The question is this, and a lot of kind of beginners in entrepreneurship and beginners in the kind of industry that I'm pursuing, which is an advertising agency, so an agency, ask me was, how do you price your services? At what number do you choose to price your services? And it's a good question. I was actually thinking about it, and through the years I've watched a bunch of business content, so I've kind of got a gist of how and why to price things. And I'm going to give you a bit of advice that I learned from Alex Hormozi. Now, don't take my word for it. I'm still a beginner, but he's the expert. He's the one that just made, like 100 million in revenue in like 72 hours or something with his new book launch. Don't trust me, trust him. So what he said was about pricing, of course. And he said what most people do is this, is they look around the industry. So let's say you're looking to get into an advertising agency, which is what I do. Let's say you're trying to begin. You're a beginner. And you look around and you say, and you find all the information you can online on others' websites and testimonials. By the way, look how beautiful this is. Very lucky. Anyway, you look around, you find the prices of your competitors. Cool. Let's say your competitors charge $2,000 for this product. Awesome. You see some that are $1,500, some that are $2,000, some that are $2,500, some that are $3,000. You're like, oh, that's a bit expensive. Okay, cool. So you think, okay, I do the same services, that person, that person, that person, X competitor, Y competitor, Z competitor. Well, I'm a beginner. I'm not the greatest in the world at this. So let me just go ahead and do something similar to them, but price it a little bit cheaper. So I'm the cheaper option. I'm a beginner in the market. I'm the cheaper option. I'm the cheapest option. I should get a bunch of customers, right? Not right, in my opinion. Here's what you probably make yourself look like. Instead of, being perceived as an expert, as the best, as top of the line services, which of course you're intending to be, you're perceived as cheap. And you'll be perceived as a beginner. You will be. Don't get me wrong, when you're just starting off, there's nothing wrong with this. But as the months and the years go on, you don't want to be the cheapest. You're not Amazon, you're not Kmart, you're not the warehouse, you're not competing on cheapest prices, you're not Bunnings, you're not competing on margins like this. You're selling your skill as a service and implementation. You're not getting paid by the hour. On the other hand, what you can do is you look around and you say, okay, here's what my competitors are doing. Here's the services they're offering. Here's how they're doing it. If you can, let's say, what's the time frame they're doing it? What's the comprehensiveness of how they're doing it? And essentially you're going in there and you're saying, how can I make my product or service better? Valid question. Everyone should always be asking themselves this question. How can I make my product or service better for my customers? How can I target better customers? And how can my customers benefit more from using my product? Why should they pick me over my competitors? Again, one way you can do this is by being a lot cheaper. As I just established, you don't want to look like the cheapest always, because you'll be associated with being cheap. And then people have a cheap investment up front in terms of money and working with you. They have a low emotional investment. They have low expectations for you. And when you don't hit those low expectations, they'll cancel their membership, their program, their subscription with you, and that's that. The game's over. You're not making money anymore. Not good. On the other side of things, let's say you can provide a better service and you spend a lot of time doing market research on how to provide a better service. You, again, research your competitors, you look around, you make your service better. You make it, you put guarantees in place to make sure your clients will get a great result. You make your marketing on point, your advertising is on point, so you're only advertising to the best type of customers. And you make your price higher. You make your prices premium prices. Okay, no one's gonna pay top dollar and expect a shit service, and no one's going to pay cheap, the cheapest service in the world and expect the greatest delivery, right? No one's expecting to get $1 million results by paying $1,000. The same way that someone that pays $1 million doesn't expect to get $1,000 of results. Two totally different customers. Anyway, where I'm going with this is this. You want to put your prices higher so your customers have a higher emotional investment. They're more emotionally tied to the product. You know, they'll feel a bit of pain once the money leaves their account. And they'll trust you. They will trust you, as crazy as it sounds. The more you charge, the more they will trust you. Okay, if you're on a sales call, for example, and you say, look, I know this is probably going to be more than you expected, but the price is X, and X is, 5 times more than they expected. They'll be like, okay, he's charging a lot. This guy's clearly confident. This is a confident company. They wouldn't charge a lot if, they were shit, would they? That's what they're subconsciously thinking. They're not, they're not actually thinking this, but in the back of their mind, they're thinking a little bit, okay, well, they surely can't charge this much and be a bad company. They've got to be a good company, right? That's the image that you give across. And that's what you want to be doing. So for any beginners getting into any sort of industry, but especially a marketing agency or an advertising agency, a social media advertising agency, I would say learn more about your target market. Choose a target market, first of all. Learn more about your target market and what they actually want and need and what other competitors are doing. Do it better, do it faster, do it more comprehensively, do it more in depth, and charge more. And make sure when you're marketing and you're advertising to get customers for your service, your customers know that as well. Make sure that they know that you're better, make sure that they know you're more comprehensive, and make sure that they know you care. That's the underlying message of everything. The more they know you care about them and their industry and them as a person, the more they're going to trust you, the more they're going to be open to paying more. So again, any beginners getting into this, learn about your industry, spend a bunch of time doing market research, and charge premium prices. The more you market and advertise this, the more sales you're going to get. The more sales, the more money you get, the more you can keep advertising, and so on and so forth. This is how you grow any business ever. It's literally the same for any business ever. Remember, like, comment, subscribe if this video was of value to you, and give me a follow on Instagram. It's at Harper Maisey. That's HARPERMAISEY. Give me a follow there. I'll leave you guys to it. Peace out.